This is the current events analysis part of the broadcast. I like to look at, the last week normally, or maybe last couple weeks, depending if we get a little backed up, but just to kind of get perspective, pay attention to what's happening in the world and, stay up to speed with current events, and then ultimately looking at current events through from a biblical perspective. I find is very, very important. So I always like to look at the articles posted on the cuttingedge.org site, or I actually get an email newsletter from that site. I've been following them for quite a while, about 25 years at this point, so a very long time. I used to know the pastor, and I highly recommend the ministry. But I can't say that I'm completely aligned with everything presented on on their website, but I feel that we are kindred spirits, and we're definitely allies in this fight to battle the force of evil in the latter days, if you want to look at it like that. So I'm going to first start with the U.S. News and World Report websites, news and cartoons, which I find entertaining but enlightening as well. So we're going to start looking at that first of all, and then move over to the cutting edge articles. And so here we go. We got kind of recap of last of last week a little bit, but yeah. So we have no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity. That's funny. I don't know. Who knows what the government's hiding, or what's real, and are they aliens? Are they demons, demonic entities? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. The 11th commandment is never speak ill of another Republican. Guess that's what, yeah, Reagan. Oh no, Trump's laughing about it, I guess. Yeah, this situation in Ohio is just shocking. I mean, beyond comprehension. I mean, just awful. And there's a big class action lawsuit against this particular railroad. I forget Southern something or other, Southern Pacific, or whatever the company was. With they basically had these toxic chemicals that they were transporting, and the the ra- the rail the train derailed and caused I guess some kind of explosion, and all kinds of chemicals were ultimately burned. Um, I guess because they wanted to eliminate the risk, or prevent some kind of explosion, something like that. But it's just toxic chemicals like hydrochloric acid, and I don't know. I mean, it's a complete disaster. Um, but who besides the thousands of rail workers who warned us about this exact scenario could have possibly seen this coming? It's funny. Not funny for the people that live in that area. I mean, it's really bad. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, people are like coughing all the time now. They can't breathe. They can't, they're having trouble breathing. I mean, it's a real, just shocking. I mean, something like that actually happening, and then the president basically doing nothing about it, and now there's a class action lawsuit against the railroad responsible. So locked on target. Oh no, ET. Keely throws her hat into the wood chipper. Oh jeez. Yeah, Nikki Haley. I believe she was the ambassador to the UN under Trump, and now she's running president next time around. So endless gun violence, staring into the abyss. Yep. What was that again? What is this? And they're making him get his own Netflix account. Oh no. Shut. Jeez. Too funny. Yeah. Jeez. That's ironic. Car- From the Chinese government because we just shot down one of their spy balloons or whatever it was. Biden, Nokia. Oh no. Yeah, not a Chinese spy balloon. Oh, jeez. It was a good game, the Super Bowl this year. If you watched it, I have to admit it was actually a really good game. But anyway, where's Waldo? Where's the feds? Asylum seekers? Jeez. What a disaster. I mean, this whole thing, I mean, it's honestly, people look at it a lot of different ways. I mean, it's really like a full-on invasion at the southern border, and then the fact that all these people are being relocated all over the country is just ridiculous. And just the fact that people are coming in droves and nothing's being done about it. I mean, there has to be some kind of, I don't know, law and order implemented at this point. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I think it's like thousands of people on a daily basis. Same thing happening in Europe, on the, you know, places like Italy and southern part of France, where they're basically being invaded on a regular basis by different people from different countries. They're just flooding into the country. But nothing's being done to stop it, and I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's very kind of crazy. But education monopoly. It's fun and critical race theory. Oh no, gender identity, all this stuff. Fail reading and writing. Oh jeez. Woke. That's funny. This guy does really good cartoons. I have to admit, very insightful, very on point, very targeted, if you want to put it that way. MichaelPRamirez.com. Very Republican in orientation. Just funny. Do not collect an education. Oh no. Go and fail. Go directly to jail. Just I was all set with that, and I never turned back. I'm good. Don't want to be. Don't want to participate. So this is the cuttingedge.org site, which has these email newsletters, and they send them out, and basically it's now that analyzing all these different events for the past week or a couple weeks, whatever it may be, and looks at it from a biblical perspective. What's happening to our society? Is it something that was prophesied in ancient times? Our society turning into a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, and just the tragedy of what's happening right now, but looking at it from a biblical lens. I mean, it's all something that was prophesied to happen. So that's the thing. I mean, you have to kind of just go with it, because I mean it's just awful. I mean, you kind of scratch your head sometimes, and how did it get so bad in such a short period of time? Really, in the last 10 years, I mean, things really went south. This country went south, and so many different cities are turning into these drug-infested cesspools, and basically, and so many people, so much crime is out of control, and just population's out of control as a whole. But it's all a sign of the times, the end times, and that the some point the anti-messiah will rise to power to rule the world, and we'll be living in some type of kingdom of hell on earth. I mean, tons of people seem to be flocking to occultism, Satanism. I mean, it's become very popular, unfortunately. It's all over the place. I mean, I think it initially hits people through music, and then it goes from there, and then people get into alternative lifestyles and whatever. So, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So, again, this is a perfect example of a quote from ancient times, or the time of the Messiah in this case, Luke 21, verse 28, from the King James Version of the Bible. And basically, when these things come to pass, I mean, the Messiah said, as it was in the days of Lot, so shall it be with the coming of the Son of Man. And I mean, we live in a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. We have, transgenderism exploded in popularity. All kinds of alternative sexual lifestyles are exploding in popularity. A lot of people are identifying as bisexual. Um, this whole idea of, this whole genderless bathrooms, things like that, and um, the idea of being non-binary. I mean, it's really, I don't know. I mean, it's just something's afoot, as Sherlock Holmes would say. I mean, it's causing a lot of problems. So, did Rihanna symbolically present to the world the Christ child during her Super Bowl performance? Hmm. I mean, she definitely grabbed her crotch, unfortunately. You know, other than that, I mean, it was definitely Uh, I don't know. I mean, your usual standard Super Bowl performance, some kind of pseudo occultic element where she was wearing all red, and I think the other dances were wearing all white. Some kind of symbolic significance there with you know Satanism, the scarlet color, things of that nature. The horror of Revelation, wearing scarlet. Rihanna is pregnant with second baby, reveals bump during Super Bowl halftime show. And I mean, really, all these things factor in, some kind of occult performance at the Grammys, some kind of, song where somebody's, having some kind of performing some kind of satanic sacrifice in the video, or some kind of occultic performance at the Super Bowl. And just all these different things are really combining to create this atmosphere for the anthem Messiah to rise the power and rule the world. Obviously, if we live in a world of corruption, who would be the ultimate master of corruption and master of wickedness? But, the anthem Messiah. So things are obviously pointing in that direction. US and Canada. Yeah, who knows? I mean, see how it plays out. I mean, maybe some UFO is going to land on the White House lawn and some aliens pop out. I mean, anything's possible, but that would be very, very interesting to say the least. But I do not think it's a benevolent influence. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it says that anything of that nature, that's supernatural in orientation, is benevolent. So anyway, authorities will be able to claim that deadly railroad crashes lately are proof that our industrial civilization cannot live with Mother Gaia. Get the hell out of here. Ohio's apocalyptic chemical disaster rages on. Yeah, that is just a complete and total disaster. Does that mean we should end our industrial civilization overall? No. But obviously something needs to be done about this whole reality of transporting these toxic chemicals, and the dangers of these chemicals. And I don't know. I mean, that's pretty crazy stuff. I mean, I had to admit, I mean, the fact that they burned these chemicals in this area where these people live, and just very irresponsible. Yeah, so I'm not going to read every single piece of every single article. I usually just touch upon the headlines to get perspective of, stay on top of what's happening in the world. I think it's important to have perspective, especially like a biblical perspective, what's happening in the world. I think it's very, very important, especially now, not to kind of live and hide in your homes, and not have a clue whatsoever what's happening in the world. I think it's important to have perspective, so you can see things coming a mile away, if that's the case. Look at things from a top down perspective, and not feel not be afraid of these things as they unfold, to put them at a distance, to look at them objectively, as they unfold and not live in fear. It's important, but to see these things coming from a mile away, so you're not shocked when all of a sudden it's right on your doorstep. So the Canadian border with the U.S. is being obliterated as many thousands of illegal immigrants are pouring over that line. Not just from Mexico, now northern border sector sees 900% increase in illegals. Um, so basically, migrant encounters and arrests. Canadian border is being trampled just like the southern border with Mexico. So, basically the same thing that's happening, I guess, at the southern border is happening at the northern border with Canada. So these are kind of an outline of the different future supranations that are being formed, one of them being ultimately the North American Union, which is a combination of Mexico, the US, and Canada, basically kind of European Union that is based on the North American continent. So those three particular countries unifying to create this kind of supranational regional government. Two local Republican officials shot dead, two were assassinated in 2 weeks. Jeez. But getting back real quick, the idea of people flooding over the borders, right? So maybe the agenda behind it, um, is basically to eliminate the borders ultimately. Why do we have borders? Why do we need borders? Why don't we just join forces? We have the North American Free Trade Agreement in place already with Mexico and Canada, so might as well just form this regional government once and for all, a type of European Union. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not for that, but obviously, if America is under attack and the Constitution of America is under attack, then obviously the whole agenda would be to eliminate the U.S. Constitution with this form of government that supersedes the U.S. government's constitutional republic. So, gunman murdered 3 students, wounded 5 at the University of Michigan State campus. 3 dead, 5 wounded, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different perspectives of all these mass shootings. Some people feel it's people that are some type of MK Ultra mind control slave that basically is becomes an assassin. Controlled through different drugs and other means to enact these insane, murderous acts on different school campuses, college campuses, and ultimately, what's the end goal? What's the objective with all of that? Is to basically take away people's guns. That's to eliminate the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and it's really sad and it's really, I think, focused ultimately on generating enough um, furor over this with the general public that they get to the point where they just want guns to be eliminated. They just want the guns to be removed from from everywhere, from stores, from people's homes. Who knows? What the end result will be with all of this, but I think that's really where it's heading, unfortunately. So all right, so I want to get into the second portion of the cutting edge. They send it's usually a couple. All right, so I want to get into the second portion of the cutting edge. They send it's usually a couple a week. These weekly newsletters analyzing different um, things that have happened during the week. So it's a nice way to get perspective and stay up to date as to where things are at. So when will aliens, UFOs fill the sky from horizon to horizon as they herald the appearance of Maitreya, the Christ or Antichrist? Maitreya is this kind of New Age figure, mysterious New Age figure. It's also the the coming Buddha figure, Maitreya Buddha, Gautama Buddha was the Buddha from 2,500 years ago, I believe, off the top of my head. And the forthcoming Buddha, it will be Maitreya Buddha. But there's also this figure, this mysterious figure associated with ShareInternational.org, that website, who claims to be the Messiah of all religious traditions in one. The uh, was the Muslims Imam Mahdi, the Buddhists Maitreya, the Christians Messiah, all these different figures combined into one. So be the basically the Messiah of all religious traditions is one. So somebody to keep an eye out for. Some other people believe that the anti-Messiah will come from the British royal family. Some people believe it's Prince Charles. The There's a book, Antichrist in a Cup of Tea, that references King Charles or Prince Charles, or now he's King Charles, of course. So the commanding general of NORAD, North American, has admitted that the air balloon might be alien UFOs. Republican Senator Kennedy strode out from a classified briefing on aliens in an tone, "Better lock your doors." The Biden White House is refusing to be transparent on the issue of the spy balloons and the debris from the shootdowns, thus convincing millions that they are real and supernatural. What is the occult plan for aliens and UFOs? I think it really ultimately is going to be the whole reality of aliens and UFOs is just going to be another piece of the puzzle associated with implementing a world empire. However, it unfolds, some kind of orchestrated event, some kind of, who knows? I really don't know. So, but I do not think under any circumstance that they are a benevolent force in the universe. So, whatever it may be, and maybe they're simply demonic entities that somehow manifest. I'm not sure. How can we be so sure that aliens are satanic and not Christian or benign? Um, I don't know. Is Elon Musk the tip of the sword for the Illuminati in the strive to the New World Order? Is he the outworking of the Hegelian dialectic? Some people think that Elon Musk is some kind of superhero. He's like Iron Man, Tony Stark, from the comic book Iron Man, which was made into a very successful movie series, and he's also with I guess, I don't know, the Avengers movies. But I, I honestly see him. He's definitely enigmatic, but some people think he's like a disruptor. He's going against the New World Order, or whatever you want to call it. Or recently, some kind of something on Twitter popped up that he was against the world government or the implementation of world government. And I don't know. I just think he's really compromised, and he's really at the forefront of the implementation of the New World Order, even though he's on the one side pretending to be somebody that's opposed to it. This whole drive to this environmentalist drive to eliminate so many aspects of our industrial society, starting with cars and then going from there. I mean, obviously he has Tesla. It's his flagship company, and there's nothing wrong with electric cars. It just there's a whole agenda being implemented as we speak that's very environmentalist in orientation, and that's just one piece of the puzzle. But you got to look at it. I mean, he's also sending these rockets up into outer space, and I don't think those are particularly environmentally friendly. But he's also helping with his Neuralink project to advance this microchip implant technology in the future. The idea of having microchips implanted in under our skin. He has the Neuralink project where they experiment with microchip implants on monkeys and ultimately humans. And I don't know. I'm sure that's already happened already with that company. So I do not think that's a benevolent approach. and reality. So I really can't stand behind the guy, even though people think he's some super revolutionary. Elon Musk tells World Government Summit too much globalization could lead to end of civilization. The whole thing may collapse. The World Government Summit, this was in Dubai, that too much centralization of world governments could lead to the end of civilization. All right. So I think with Dubai, it's interesting that of course that they had this big conference there. I think Dubai is really going to be this I mentioned it before, but I really definitely think it's going to be some kind of safe haven, um, area for people to go to stay clear of things that are going to unfold with some kind of potentially nuclear World War III scenario, some implementation of this world empire, and all the manifestations and reverberations of that type of activity. So, is America gonna get attacked from the inside out? Is it gonna be invaded by China, by Iran, by I don't know, who knows, Venezuela or something? But are we being targeted for destruction? Is Europe being targeted for destruction? I mean, Europe is definitely being invaded at its southern borders. So um, I'm not sure, how it's all going to unfold, but I really think that Dubai, having been built up into this super metropolis oasis in the desert for the last couple decades, has created this kind of area, this venue for people to escape to get away from it all, to get away from these forthcoming battles, whatever it ends up being. So or however it unfolds. But I did not think World War III is going to be a pretty picture. So I guess we'll just see what happens with that. So, would stricter gun laws have prevented California's latest shooting? Proliferation of mass public shootings lately may herald an all-out global attack on individual gun ownership. Here we go. Perfect example. All this activity, all this, it's all leading to people being completely outraged at the reality of all these mass shootings. People are very upset. I mean, the people have spoken, when everything's said and done, the people will have spoken out to the nth degree to the point where we will not have any gun rights anymore. I mean, I think really that's the end result of all of this. I mean, it's sad that any of this stuff is happening, of course, and people are dying. I mean, people are being murdered. I mean, I honestly feel like a lot of this is orchestrated, but who knows? I don't know all the details, and just I feel that it's almost like evil begets evil. When people get ideas, they just go crazy. They hear about something and they identify with that something, that particular person, some serial killer or something. You see some movie, they get inspired, and then they or become some kind of copycat killer and go off and do the same thing to somebody else. And it's really sad. It's just, I mean, it's horrific. I mean, we're obviously living in the latter days when these things are unfolding, and it's rather unfortunate. It's very, very, very sad. And it's sad all the families involved that have lost loved ones to all these atrocious activities of these really, truly psychotic people, that either snapped or just really just became unhinged or just lost it. I mean, however we want to put it, but it's really unfortunate, and it's sad to see this stuff unfolding, and at such a fast pace too. I mean, it's like never ending. Every day you read something in the newspaper, another mass shooting, another mass shooting, another mass shooting, another mass shooting, and inevitably we're all our guns are going to get taken away. Is how I look at it. Terrified immigrants are fleeing New York City to a safer Canada. Immigrant asylum seekers fleeing New York City's squalor for safer Canada. Okay. So yeah, there you have it. So I guess when it really comes down to it, it's important to stay safe. You know, I believe in gun ownership. I believe in people having gun rights. There's many different countries in the world that will not be able to defend themselves. Everything's said and done if they're ever invaded as a result of the fact that their gun rights were revoked at one point or another in the past, and it's sad. And there's gonna a lot of people are gonna lose their lives because they will not be able to defend themselves by some other country that's invading their country and and just murdering people recklessly, in some kind of World War III scenario. So I believe in gun ownership. I believe, you start in the home. You protect your home, you protect your family, and then it goes outward from there. So, it starts in the home, then you protect your where you live, your town, and then your state, and then your nation ultimately. And then, try to help other nations, of course. So, but I don't know. This is just really sad to see unfold, and it's rather unfortunate, but I believe that the Messiah will return and destroy the force of evil. It's not in my hands to resolve things once and for all. That's up to the Most High, the Creator of the universe, Yahweh our Elohim, and His Son Yahshua Hamashiach, to resolve things once and for all. So it's not something I'm stressing out about. I'm not afraid. I mean, whatever happens, happens. But it's in Yahweh's hands. So I'm not afraid. So. But I hope you have a blessed day and, hope maybe you get something out of this analysis. All right. Take care.